Hello students, welcome back to your computer science class. We are doing the revision of chapter 1, which is going to be a part of your first unit test examination. Today we will talk about the data capturing, storage and retrieval. Data capturing is the process of gathering data from different sources in the digital form. It can be in any way, whether you take it from keyboard or barcode readers, any input device. Sometimes heterogeneity among data sources makes data capturing a complex task. Then, after you have gathered the data, you must store the data. The process of storing the captured data for processing later is the data storage. Nowadays, the data is being made and produced at a very high rate. And so the data storage has become a challenging task. But decrease in the cost of digital storage devices has helped in simplifying this task to some extent. There are so many digital storage devices available in the market today, pen drives and external hard disk drives and memory disks, that CD, DVD have been completely forgotten. Besides, data keeps on increasing with time. So the storage devices are also required to be upgraded periodically. And so nowadays we have the Blu-ray disc. So we have the Blu-ray discs and uh, we have external hard disks available. In large organizations, computers with larger and faster storage data servers are deployed so that we can store larger and vast amount of data over there. Such dedicated computers whose work is only storage of data helps processing data more efficiently. But the cost of setting up a data server as well as its maintenance is very high. And so small organizations and small setups cannot opt for it. Then comes data retrieval. It involves fetching data from the storage devices. That means you retrieve the data for its processing as per the user's requirement. As the databases grow, the challenges involved in the searching and finding the data, especially in the acceptable time, also increases. Databases grow because we have more data. So the databases start growing. And when they start growing, the biggest challenge is to search for the required data, and that also in the given time space. Like if I just, if for example, let's say I want to upload, I'm giving a very small example, something that we must have encountered. I want to upload a picture of a friend of mine whose birthday is today. And I know which picture, okay, there's this picture I had taken some XYZ at some XYZ place or whatever. And I keep searching for the data in my phone, but I don't find it. So I'm searching for a particular data and I'm not able to retrieve it in the given time space. Maybe I found it the next day or the day after it, or maybe the next week, but it's pointless because I needed it that time. So as the databases are growing, the challenges of data retrieval is also increasing, and minimizing this data access time is very crucial for faster data processing. So in Google Drive, in Google Photos, if you type the word, it actually searches, it does a keyword search. You are even allowed to tag your friends. So if you have tagged your friend, you put your friend's name, you get all pictures with your friend's face, and that reduces the data retrieval time, data access time. So those kind of things help us overcome the challenge of data retrieval. Next is the data deletion and data recovery. One is deleting because you can't keep everything. You can't keep everything. And the second is recovery is when you accidentally delete something. So one of the biggest threats with digital data is its deletion. Not every time deleted data is the one that we deleted. Sometimes hackers or spammers, or it can happen by mistake or by a friend or by an enemy or anybody. Someone may delete your data, and that is the biggest threat with the digital data, that you might lose it if it's deleted. The storage devices can also malfunction and crash, which results in the loss of data. Users accidentally erase data from the storage devices, or a hacker or a malware, that is a virus, can delete the digital data intentionally. Deleting the digitally stored data means changing the details of the data at bit level, which can be very time consuming. Honestly, if you want to really delete some data, you have to go to the bits of those data and change it and corrupt it. Only then you have actually deleted it. What generally actually happens in data deletion is the address is lost. We know now that every data in a computer is saved at a particular address. Let's take it in a real life scenario. You have a house address, I have a house address, etc., etc. What if your house address is lost completely? Like you become like lavara, like ours, koi hai nahi, koi ghar hi nahi hai. You have no address. That's exactly what actually happens to our data. One is that. Other thing that happens is, after your address is lost, in that address someone new comes and lives. So number one, आपका घर का एड्रेस चला गया है. दूसरा, आपके घर के अंदर कोई और रह रहा है. So you are completely unknown. You are not known anywhere. Somebody wants to find you, cannot go to that house and find you. There is no way that person can track you. That is called data deletion, that actually takes place generally in a computer. But if you actually seriously want to delete any data, then we need to go down to the bit levels and corrupt it. That means you go to the person's bits and you change it. So वो आदमी ही पूरा deform हो जाएगा. Meaning possibility ही नहीं है कि इसको हम ढूंढ पाए. फिर अगर मिल भी गया तो corrupt मिलेगा. So then your data is completely deleted. Therefore, when any data is simply deleted, its address entry is only marked as free. Basically, उसका घर जो है वापस available हो गया, उसका address वापस available हो गया, and that much space is shown as empty to the user without actually deleting the data. Okay. Data retrieval. In case the data gets deleted accidentally or corrupted, there arises a need to recover this data. It's not always, huh? It's only when it happens through accidents do we want to retrieve it. Recovery of the data is possible only if the content or memory space marked as deleted have not been overwritten by some other data. I repeat, you can recover this data only if the content or memory space or wherever it was located has not already been overwritten, or it's not already been allotted to some other data. Data recovery is a process of retrieving deleted, corrupted, and lost data from secondary storage devices. Secondary storage, not primary storage. Okay. Security. Now, there are normally two security concerns associated with data. One is deletion. Deletion by an unauthorized person or an unauthorized software. This concern can be avoided by limiting the access to the computer system and using passwords for user accounts and files wherever possible. There's also an option of encrypting files to protect them from unwanted modification. You can even encrypt it so that nobody can come and modify it. The other concern is related to unwanted recovery. This is another important concern if you think over it. Unwanted recovery of the data by unauthorized user or software. That means many times we discard our old storage devices, our laptops, etc. We delete data, we completely, format the computer and give it. But after formatting the computer, remember, formatting means what? All the data spaces, remember what actually happens in deletion? All the data spaces have only been marked as free. उन लोग उस डेटा को घर से निकाल दिया basically. Okay, it's still there. So we are right now assuming that the contents of the deleted files are permanently removed, whereas that is not the case. And you can retrieve the data, especially if that place has not been overwritten. And in formatting, it's never overwritten, correct? So, however, if these storage devices fall into the hands of mischief makers, they can easily recover data from such devices, and this poses a threat to the data confidentiality. This concern can be mitigated by using proper tools to delete or shred data before disposing of any old or faulty storage device. That means you get data shredders. That means you get these machines where you need to put your hard disk drive or pen drive or CD, and they will electrically uh, change the bits, and they go to the root and they completely electroculate, and they shred those data into bits. Literally, the word bit over here means those bits. They go to the bit level and they change it, they corrupt it. Okay, so we can do that before disposing of any old storage device. All right, so we will do software tomorrow. Now I want you to do some I want you all to do some programs. We've done hello world, adding two numbers, find square root, swap variables with a third variable, swap variables without a third variable, generate a random number. Last time you all did solve a quadratic equation, which pictures you all have to send me. Now we all are going to do how to convert Celsius to Fahrenheit. All of these are sequential data. They're not using any if-else statements. They are not using any while statements or nested a for loop or anything. So these don't really require me to teach you all anything. You all should be able to actually do these alone. In this, we have a variable named Celsius, which is taking a float input from the user, and it is using the float input and it is going to convert it into Fahrenheit, and then it's just going to print it. In the print statement, like I have told you all before, they are using the format option. You can print it in your own way. You don't need to print it in this way. The print statement can change. So today you will do convert Celsius to Fahrenheit. Write this down. Don't write the print statement. Change it. Put your own output there. Do convert a degree into a radian, and do convert a radian to a degree. Okay. 3. First is convert Celsius to Fahrenheit. 2. Convert a degree to a radian. Try and self-understand these. If you have any problems, please feel free to get in touch with me through WhatsApp. I will solve your query as soon as I can. And third is convert a radian to a degree. So with this, I end today's class. You all have 3 programs to practice. We've done quite a lot of revision. Tomorrow we will end the chapter. Okay. So with that, I end today's class. Stay home, stay safe, take care, and keep learning. Thank you.